Welcome to Pixel Pizza,
Did she say pizza?
your ultimate source for chiptunes, video game talk, and pepperoni. Delivered to you from Los Angeles and into the digital cyberspace of the 2020s.
Pizza power!
That's right, when super giant pizza.
I want a large, thick crust with double cheese, ham, pepperoni. Hey, where's my pizza? Pizza time.
Welcome back to Pixel Pizza, lovely audience. You just listened to the track Key Gen by our chiptune artist of the week, Lukhash. And now joining me for our next part of the show, our talk segment, is a very accomplished game developer. They are the CEO of Dang, an up-and-coming indie enterprise who recently, I think about a year ago, put out the very high-octane action first-person shooter Boomerang X. And it is Ben Caulkins. How you doing, Ben?
Hey, Jared, what's going on? Thanks for
Not
having me
too
on.
much. Been having a lot of really cool guests on lately and happy to keep the train going with you.
I'm happy to be one more car.
Exactly. So I like to start off the show by asking, when in your life did you know you wanted to be in games?
It was probably right before I graduated high school. I spent most of my life thinking I would be like a mechanical engineer of some kind. I always fantasized about either building bridges or doing something in like environmental sciences. It didn't take me long to it didn't take a lot of thought for me to realize that I've got a lot of creative impulses, I guess, and it felt like as something that has rigid rules and correct answers, like there's a right way to do it, maybe is not the place for me. In games, though, you can kind of do whatever you want, and it's all right. And I don't know. I'm not. It wasn't really a hard moment, like a line that I crossed. It was more just like a very gradual realization. And by the time I went to college, I applied to be in the game dev program where I ended up going. So by that time, I had made the decision, I guess, to be a game developer. Now, in what capacity, I had no idea.
That's awesome. I think I heard that you started as a composer. Is that right?
I mean, really, we're the starting as is right now. Like I would say I started out as an independent developer, really. And part of that was I did the music for our first game, but I also was a level designer. I was an animator on it. I was one of the leads on it. So that was my first foray into game development, was doing that project with my friends together. So I'd say we got our start just out of college, hit the ground running, working on games.
Wow. And this was your very first project, Boomerang X?
Yeah, my very first.
Wow.
Whether or not it was working for someone or myself, it was my first. Yeah.
That's pretty incredible because it's gotten such rave reviews. Had
Oh, thank you.
overwhelmingly positive on Steam. You rarely see that.
Yeah, right. Thank you, everyone.
So how did you connect with the rest of your team?
College. It was as simple as they were all people I met through the game dev program at my school, RPI. And we just all clicked really well. We're on very similar creative wavelengths. We like a lot of the same things. We work very well together, I'd say. Yeah, we had a blast doing that first game, and we're working on another one because we had so much fun.
That's great. Were there any specific things that you all bonded over?
I mean, taste is definitely a big one. We all have very similar senses of humor, weird senses of humor. Definitely like a lot of bonding over old like Adult Swim shows that we would watch, like Tim and Eric or Eric Andre.
Yes.
It wasn't really a lot of bonding over like game taste, though. I'd say it was like a lot of similar tastes in other ways, like similar taste in music or film or TV. Like we all just kind of acclimate towards the same type of thing for one reason or another. Our tastes have brought us together.
That's great. Yes, I could, when I was, looking around online, I definitely got that sense of humor from you guys. 'Cause I love it.
Oh, you mean from like the Twitter or
Yeah,
Instagram?
yeah.
I mean, it's funny, but like we never, well, recently we did, but up until recently, we never like sat down and talked about like, what is our brand going to be? It had just been like, we trust everyone to know exactly what the right thing to say on Twitter is most of the time.
Is there a right thing to say on Twitter?
There's definitely a wrong thing to say on Twitter.
That's for sure.
So, like, as far as like, what is our voice? Like, we kind of just all trust each other to know what is inside and outside, like the brand, I guess. Like, we've done this for long enough and known each other long enough that it's very easy for us to sort of anticipate what someone else, I think, is going to say or will approve or disapprove of. So, can't remember where I was going with this, but well, I guess it relates back to us sort of finding each other because we have such an intuitive, I guess, understanding of what we like, and what we like is very similar to each other.
That's cool. When you were at RPI, were you involved in like the greater Rochester game development community? Because we've had a bunch of guests previously on the show who were veterans of rock game dev.
So this happens a lot. People think RPI is in Rochester.
Oh,
RIT is the one in Rochester. We're much farther east. We're near Albany.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Rochester's closer to Buffalo, I think.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, that sounds right.
yeah, we're in Troy, New York, the capital
Okay.
region.
Sorry to
No, you're good.
get that wrong. Yeah, anyway, let's see, where can I go to next? So yeah, how did your first project come together? Where did the core idea come from?
That's a long, a winding journey. It started
Well, I'm here
when,
for all of it.
um, well, part one is me and my friend Sam, who were also like we were both co-leads on the version of Boomerang X that came out, did a game jam version of it in college for the first of the Game Makers Toolkit game jams. I don't know if you know Game Makers Toolkit.
A YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Mark Brown, the video essayist, hosted a game jam. I want to say in 2017. Yeah, the year before we graduated. So me and my friend Sam did that over the summer. Had a great time with it, and I really liked the idea that we came up with, which was you have a boomerang and you throw it, but the gimmick is you push a button and you go to it instead of the other way around. And it was way worse than the version of Boomerang X that we have now. But I still really loved it. I couldn't tell you what I thought was cool about it at the time, but I was so into the idea of just like uninhibited flying around, and it's also your weapon that you're using to fly around. So as we got closer to graduation in the semester after we did that, me and my friends were talking about like, hey, we all like each other a lot. Maybe we want to do this professionally as a business and make our own games. And so we ended up flipping on this. I'll get into that. But we at first were like, let's do Boomerang X. So we got a little into pre-production on that, coming up with like new enemy designs, changes to the mechanics. I started working on what some new music might sound like. We got some concept art. And then another project that me and Sam had done for a class ended up getting nominated for the IGF student game competition.
Wow.
Which I did not think would happen. That was a different project called IO Interloper, which was this sort of hacking, I guess, puzzle solving game that we had done. The gimmick with that game is that you're this hacker and you're not present in the space at all. It's like Watch Dogs, but you're not actually in the level. All you have are like these devices in the world for you to interact with. And so we did that as students. That got picked up by the IGF, and it also got nominated, I think, at E3. And so because we thought it had buzz, we said, okay, let's do this one instead. Spent a year doing that. Couldn't get any publishers for it. No one wanted anything to do with a hacking game. So we got very frustrated and tired of that. And it was the start of the summer of 2019. We put IO to bed and picked up Boomerang X again, thinking that this is a much more attractive title to publishers. It's an action game. It has more principles in it that are already established, that like we know that people like. It's a shooter. And so we did that. And it turns out we were right, because 6 months later we had Devolver Digital.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, what happened was we switched to Boomerang X and then prioritized making it very pretty looking. So we did that, cut a trailer together, showed that to a bunch of publishers, and got yeses from basically everyone we talked to that I can remember. And we went with our first choice, which was Devolver.
Of course, yeah, you don't get bigger than that in the indie space.
Yeah, I mean, truly. For our first game, for having never worked on any project, we were just like, wow, that's very validating. That feels pretty
Yeah,
cool.
really. You guys have natural talent.
Well, thank you. We'll see. We'll see where this goes, I guess. Our next project, maybe it tanks us. Who knows?
Yeah. We'll see. Fingers crossed. So I know a lot of people have compared the game to one of my favorites, which is Doom Eternal. And I was wondering, like, is that something like you gathered influence from? And when you're, looking at other games, where do you decide like what you want to take and where you see areas where like you could change this, you could improve this, you could make it your own?
That's a great question. And I think because it started as a game jam game, the story is a little different. because I think when you're making a game and it's not a game jam, when you're thinking about what to borrow, what to steal, what to live from, I feel like when you're not under the gun of the time pressure of a game jam, you're a little bit more comfortable to be like, I kind of want to develop my own idea. Let's take that and work with it. On a game jam, you're like, steal that. We don't have time to think about what this is going to be, so steal from there. So we, Sam, who I did the game jam with, is a huge fan of a game called Devil Daggers. And so all the things that we hadn't talked about explicitly, like what is the structure of this game jam going to be, what's the health system going to be like, all of that was lifted from Devil Daggers, which is to say, it is an arena shooter. You fight guys who are trying to touch you, and if they touch you, you die immediately. So all that got lifted from Devil Daggers, which is a pretty significant portion of the game's DNA. Like it wears being an arena shooter on its sleeve, I'd say. And Doom, I'm glad you brought up Doom, because I'm still, of all of us, the only one who's played Doom and Doom Eternal.
Really?
The two new ones, yeah.
Yeah.
We're not a big shooter crowd in general, I'd say.
Yeah, these are like the exceptions for me. I don't typically play a lot of shooters, but I loved the two new Doom games so much.
Yeah, and when we started doing Boomerang X, Doom Eternal had not come out yet, but I had played Doom, and we're almost certainly definitely lifting some of the kineticism of Doom. But the one specific thing I can remember lifting from Doom wasn't something they did, but it was something that they didn't do that I wish they had done that we ended up doing, which was, have you played Boomerang X at all?
A little bit, yeah. I played the demo.
Oh, you played the demo. So, like we have this required enemy system where we have these yellow sigils over enemies' heads, and those are the ones you have to kill to progress the wave. So I had a memory of playing Doom 2016 where it was one of the early levels when you're on Mars, and I was at the end of the combat encounter, and I couldn't tell what the game wanted me to do. The music was going, it was like supposed to be high octane, but I couldn't see any enemies, and it didn't feel very exciting.
Oh, yeah, I think that happened to me once or twice.
It happens like that because you depopulate the level. It just naturally happens. You kill all the enemies, and so at the end of the encounter is its lowest excitement because that's where it has the fewest enemies. And more than likely, you've killed the really cool ones already because they're the most dangerous. So the encounter ends in this very flimsy and kind of thin way.
Yeah, there's one lone imp jumping around somewhere.
Exactly. Like, and so our answer to that was to say, we'll design it with these required enemies. So at the end of a wave, the level is still populated with enemies you did not have to kill. You may have gone and killed them anyway, but it's like far less likely, I'd say. Like most of people's playthroughs look like what we want them to look like, which is waves end, and it's still very frantic. They're still very populated with enemies. Well, yeah, that was, I guess, a lesson lifted from Doom.
That's great. Yeah, I can see there how you took something and made it what you wanted it to be. Yeah,
totally. I mean, I feel like I am inspired as much by seeing things and going, I would do that differently as I am by, that's a cool idea. Yeah,
so, I mean, I don't know how firm your role is as the CEO, as it says, but I know you were mentioning before that you have teammates who are in Portland, and I was wondering, how do you lead a team that is more spread out?
Right. So over the summer, two of our members, Sam and Bones, decided they wanted to change things up. So they moved out, went to Portland. And I mean, it probably depends on the time zone, how difficult it is, but it's only a 3-hour difference. So it's very manageable. We just schedule a meeting that is at a time that is convenient for everyone. During the day to meet, we meet at 1. So it's 10 a.m. over there and it's midday for us. And we talk, we catch up on everything everyone did yesterday. That's the first thing we do is we break down what all we had, what had been keeping us busy up until then. And if there's nothing to talk about, we break, we go back to our tasks. But if it feels like there's someone who still needs something to do, I'll stick around and talk about what their next task could be maybe. If there's something like a creative decision we need to bang out, I may schedule beforehand, after our group meeting, maybe one other person I want to talk to about a specific problem. But After COVID, it is honestly not that much of a change of pace because in COVID, you get very used to working remotely in a similar
Right.
way. I'd say the only real additional complication is the different time zones.
Yeah, for sure. That would make it tough. I was working a job during COVID where I had initially started the job in LA, but I moved back home to New York for kind of safety reasons. So
There.
I was 3 hours ahead of them, and I was still working on LA time, so I wouldn't get done until 9 p.m. But
God, that sounds bad.
it
I'm not gonna
was,
lie.
it wasn't my favorite experience, but it was a good learning one, if nothing else.
Yeah. Sounds like a good recipe for burnout, though.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, no, we definitely we had a lot of that on Boomerang X, so we made sure to create some clear boundaries for the next project, so we don't kill ourselves doing it.
That's good. Yeah. So like, who are the different members of the team and what do they do?
Right. So I guess there's me. You know what? It's interesting. I feel like in Dang, it's less about what do people do, and it's more like what can each person do, and of the things they can do on this project, which things are they going to do? So like like you mentioned, I did the music for Boomerang X. I'm not doing the music for our next project though. I'm the lead, and I'm just going to do, I think, level design and animation. But like I can do those things also. I also can do sound effects, modeling, and hopefully on every project, a number of things I am good at will grow. There's Sam, who can do extremely good shader programming, a lot of UI programming, and a lot of tools programming. And Sam is also just like a very good graphic designer, and also just a good and intuitive designer of like UX also. There's Bones Taylor, who's a very good AI programmer and also manages our Discord. There's Janice, who's our primary 2D artist, but they can also do like really high quality 3D art. And then there's our newest member, Sean Concanon, who, well, I guess it's hard because I haven't worked with Sean yet, so I'm trying to think what all the capabilities are. Well, Sean knows how to 3D model and animate, so that's cool. And Sean is also a very good writer, I'd say. As far as what everyone's role on the team is, it really does not get more specific than you're a programmer and you're an artist. And that's kind of it.
Yeah, that's definitely, in speaking with a bunch of indie teams, it sounds like everyone just wears a lot of hats.
Yeah, basically, yeah. I mean, I don't know if I'd like to work any other way. It's too much fun getting to work in so many different mediums.
Oh, I can imagine, yeah. Do you have like a favorite, or is it just the diversity that you like the best?
Probably the music is my favorite part, which is why it was probably the hardest thing for me to let go of on this project, but I just knew there wouldn't be time for it. But definitely, I think I have the most fun with music. I think it's the thing I probably have the strongest relationship with. Growing up, I loved soundtracks. Like my first musical interest was probably the soundtrack to Star Wars. So I've had a lifelong obsession with soundtracks, like pairing music with visuals.
Are there any game soundtracks you really like?
Oh yeah, there's so many good ones. Oh, what's a really good one? What's a good recent one?
That's a good question.
Neon White has a pretty good soundtrack.
Oh, I've heard. Yeah, I need
Neon White's a pretty fun soundtrack. Doom, those are great soundtracks. Fez is definitely one of my favorites. All the Austin Winery stuff, like I don't know if you know Journey and Abzu. Yeah. Journey's great. What's a really good one from recently was Solar Ash. I thought had a really good soundtrack. I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I still need to play it. I've been kicking myself to play that one.
Oh wait, but the best one is for me, definitely Katamari Damacy, hands down.
Oh, that's a classic.
Yeah, it's gotta be that one.
It goes all over the place, that soundtrack.
That's why I love it so much. They're just not afraid to explore all these different sonic territories. I think it's it's such a good like just concept album almost.
Yeah.
But yeah, that one I'd say is my top tier.
Awesome. So yeah, now that the game is out, how have you guys reflected on it?
I guess we're still doing that, I guess. I don't know if you know, but we just had a live stream on the anniversary of the game's release, which was a couple weeks ago. Yeah, and the lead up to that, I would say the biggest thing I took away from the lead up to that was that the game is not doing as badly as I kept telling myself it was. To be fair, the game has not done great. It did not meet our expectations, I'd say. But I think I was being very hard on myself about how much people liked the game. And upon further reflection, when we were having sort of, I would say, enhanced engagement with people leading up to it. So we were talking to fans more. And I was just I was being reminded that people really liked it. People walked away from that game and really had a good time. And I hadn't really been thinking about that a lot. I've been thinking a lot about what we'd done wrong. And there are things we had done wrong. Like there were certain design decisions I think are not great. And I think the game is also overpriced. That was definitely the most overriding complaint we got, was people saying the game is too expensive. All right, fine. Maybe those people were right. But yeah, I'm trying to think now. I'm trying to think more about how good of a job we did, because I don't think I had thought about that enough.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest criticism I saw was there wasn't enough of the game, which is like one of the best criticisms you can get.
I know. It sucks too, because it busts your heart up when you read that, because you're like, I want to give you so much more. Right. But this is all we could do, I swear. This is the best we could do. It truly was. Like, I knew when it came out, people were going to complain about the length. I knew they would. But there was just nothing we could do about it. Like, we made it as we could have made it longer if we wanted to, but we would have probably had to compromise on, I'd say, the quality we were able to hit, or the polish. It's just one of those trade-offs you gotta, I guess, be considering. Like, do you want a lot of fidelity, or do you just want a lot? And we chose we wanted lots of fidelity. We wanted a high fidelity game, and that just meant it ended up being pretty short.
Yeah, I think that makes it more memorable, certainly.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah, and what was like the live stream like?
That was a lot of fun. I was worried no one would show up, honestly, and we had good viewership, so it was really fun to just have this dialogue with the people who played the game. We did one bit where we opened up the editor and asked the people in chat to pitch changes to make to the level's waves, and they were saying stuff like, make the frogs, put some frogs in it, make them bigger, make the giraffe faster, 100 flies that are all 10 times smaller. I was like, this is great. I'm having a great time. And so we did all these bits, and it was just, it went a lot better than I thought it would. The whole thing, I would say, went better than I thought it would. We had a fan art competition. That was a lot of fun to see people's submissions. We pitched our fake Netflix show that we made a trailer for. We had a lot of fun. I'd say it was really fun because we got to play with a different medium, I guess, which is video, it was just fun to do.
Yeah, I bet. It sounds like a wild time. Is the VOD up anywhere?
I don't know. I honestly haven't checked. I'm gonna Google it right now. Let's see. I think so. I think it's up. I can't figure it out now. I'll let you know afterwards, though. I'll figure it out.
All good. Okay, I think this is probably about the right time for us to cut to our musical break for the episode. So Ben, stay right there. And we are going to play another song from Lukhash, and that is called Exile. So see you listeners after the musical break. Hi there, we are back with Pixel Pizza, and you just listened to the song Exile by Lukhash. And now we are returning to talk with Ben Caulkins about their upcoming projects, or maybe not, depending on what you want to talk about. But anyway, one of the questions I like to ask also is, what is something about your creative process that nobody knows?
That nobody, not even the people I work with, huh?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah, never before heard.
Maybe I don't think about my creative process enough to know what that is. Huh? That's a really interesting question, though. I don't know if this is unique, but I feel like it is sort of almost an axiom of like every game designer's brain that fundamentally, at least for me, it feels like, I don't know, what is the, I guess you know what? Okay, here's my creative process that I've never explained to someone. I think when we were doing Boomerang X, and it's the same on this project, the thing that is in my mind is not like a set of mechanics or a look. It really is just like an emotional experience. Like there's an emotion we want you to hit, and everything else is reverse engineered from that as far as my process goes. We may have mechanics that we want the game to be around that we came up with separately, but then once we do that, it's like, okay, how do we use these mechanics, these tools to hit this emotional goal? Like it's and you kind of have to be open-minded to it changing. Like if you see something in a mechanic that excites you that isn't part of the original plan, then maybe shifts it. But I feel like you can have this emotional thing and go through entire different genres to try to achieve it. Like I feel like the flexibility is limitless. It really is. I feel like the thing that collapses what you end up choosing is taste. But then everything else, the specificity of the game is guided by that emotion. Like it's hard to talk about because I can't say anything about what we're doing right now, but it's like on Boomerang X, the goal was, I would say, briskness. Like we wanted Boomerang X to be a brisk game. You don't have to stop and think about what you're doing ever. The goal is, it is thoughtless. It's all reaction. You're just going, you're very fast. Even separate from the mechanic of I'm throwing a boomerang and going to it, there's that emotional goal, which is the briskness of it, I'd say. And I feel like every game has that. So I guess there's probably some even more subconscious thing that I haven't identified yet, but I'd say that is a component of my creative process that I've never laid out to anyone.
Yeah, that's awesome. It reminds me of when I took a film class in grad school, and my teacher explained to us about like what they call the interest curve in movies, and where, you know, as what parts of the story are supposed to, you know, get the viewer's interest, and how to pace it out. And that's what the movie is built around. And I think that can definitely be applied to games as well.
Oh no, absolutely. And I feel like when you're working on the game, you kind of don't really know how to identify what that thing you're chasing after is, because I mean, that's what's so hard about it, is you're trying to figure out what it is the entire time, I guess. Like I can only really look back at Boomerang X now and be like, oh, that's what we were chasing. That's the experience we were trying to cultivate for people.
Yeah, for sure. Hindsight is 2020. But yeah, so what would you say, as far as what you can say, your hopes are for the future?
Trillions of dollars, dozens of successes. My real vision of the future is, I feel like the only thing I ever think about with regards to the future is if we can resist growing for as long as possible and just keep it to us, that would be beautiful. That's an ideal future. And like if we meet some other creative person, we jive with them, we fold them in. But I feel like the goal is not to just for us to grow for our own sake. Like I hope the future is us operating at a very small scale and still doing the things we really like doing without having to ask someone else for permission.
Yeah, I would think it's hard to keep things personal when your team continues to grow and everything.
Honestly, me too, which I think is why I'm afraid of that happening. I feel like the games that I love that speak to me in the most intimate way are the ones that are made by the smallest teams often, just because you can still feel the personalities of the people in it.
Absolutely. Yeah, that was, I mean, done a little early because you gave such good answers, but all the questions I had in mind, was there anything else you wanted to talk about?
I don't know. I mean, if there's anything else you wanted to ask me about.
Yeah, totally. I can think up some things. Like what do you want to see from the future of the industry?
Ooh, that's funny. That's been on my mind a lot lately, actually. I don't know if do you know who John Riccitiello is?
His name sounds, he was the EA guy, right?
He was the EA guy. Now he's the CEO of Unity, which is the engine we
Oh.
use. And he's been in the news quite a bit recently because Unity just bought this company called Iron Source for $4.5 billion, which the details are not exactly clear on me of what they did wrong, but apparently they are associated with malware and they're banned in a
Oh.
couple of countries. But
Yikes.
so here's Unity buys them for $4.5 billion. Their CEO, John Riccitiello, it's like issues a statement about how like, oh, it's going to help with our like something to do with like peer-to-peer monetization. Like we're going to be able to monetize, like you're going to be able to monetize your game so much more easily. I'm sure it's going to go towards like putting crypto in Unity games or some horrible thing like that. And then there was a backlash to that. And then his reaction in an interview was like, game devs are fucking idiots. Like I think he literally said they're fucking idiots for
Really?
not prioritizing monetizing. And I mean, obviously the direction I'm going in is I would like for people who think like that to just not be here anymore, but I know that's not going to happen. I know the direction is more granular monetizations. Like I know everyone hates the new Diablo on mobile, but I also know it made like dozens of millions of dollars within a couple of days for Blizzard, so that's probably not going to change.
Yeah.
All I can say is we will be resistant as long as we can manage, I think.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say, I think people think, all these companies think live service and, gradual content and pricing is the future. But I think there's always going to be a place for experiences that are, complete as they are and self-contained.
Yeah.
But yeah, what were you saying before that?
You know what? Actually, I'm gonna keep going. I have one other. What was I saying? Well, I think I was gonna just go further and be like, game price are priced at some rate. You buy it, you own it. I would love for people to get off of the train tracks that make them think games must be $60 or $20 and that's it. Like, if you make an indie game, it really doesn't matter how much stuff there is at $60. You don't deserve that. That's the AAA price tag. And it's like, what is that? What does that even mean? What is your valuation of this product and how are you relating that to the price? Because it doesn't seem like it has anything to do with what's actually in the package. So much as labels that you're attaching to it that really don't matter that much. And that is so annoying to me because if you like that, because it's an indie game, how dare they price that high? Now, if I'm being honest, it was priced too high. But people balked at it on principle alone, and that is so frustrating when you're a developer, I think, because it just makes you think that people are valuing your work for all the wrong parameters. They're measuring it in all the wrong ways, is what it feels like.
Yeah, it feels very arbitrary.
People they gauge price on all the wrong values. So I mean, they gauge it on the metric of is it indie or is it AAA, and that's a value judgment, which is completely arbitrary and makes no sense. Why not look at the thing and look at and see where the value is? And that's another thing, looking at the thing and seeing where the value is. Whenever people do that, they always look at length. They're always talking about how long something is and using that as a value judgment. And that is also very silly because it could be long and suck. Who knows? It could be short and awesome. It could be short and crappy. Like, I feel like these are all value judgments that are completely baseless. And I guess I just want people to stop doing them. I know they won't. They will do it forever. But it would be cool if they could stop.
Yeah, totally. I just finished playing the Klonoa remasters, or they're more like remakes of, I don't know if you heard about it, these old PlayStation games that they bundled together. And like the work they did on them is phenomenal. It's not just like a little bit of an upscale or something. They totally redid the games from the ground up and they look great. You would never know they came from the old consoles. And yet people were saying it was too expensive at $40, wait for a sale. And it's like, they're treating them like they're like just HD ports when that's not really what they are.
Well, you brought up something that this complicates my feelings on it, because remakes follow different rules for me, I think.
Yeah.
Because like you're putting that out there and you're saying like, here's something that's not my idea. Someone else already did this. We're doing it again because we think there were things that were broken. Right off the bat, like I'm conflicted, because if it's really good, I want to play and say it's really good. But the hard part is like, where am I assigned? Is that value I'm rewarding credit to the original creator for? Is that the people who did the remake? And my feelings on it are, I don't think people should remake games. I think they should just do what they want. Because if you're making a remake, it can't be for any other reason than you want to use it to make more money. Like it was a guaranteed hit back in the day. You wanted to do it again. Like it's never because the world needs it at a higher fidelity. It's because people want to use it to make more money.
Yeah, I mean, I think it also has to do with game preservation, which is constantly a problem in our industry, that these classic games are unavailable. And I mean, ideally, I wish they could just put out all the old games on every platform as they were, and that way people would have access to them. But I guess the publishers feel it would be more attractive to have them as modern standards.
Well, that's true. I mean, it does serve that purpose of preserving like an archive, but I have to, I feel pretty confident, like none of it is motivated by that.
Yeah.
That's sort of the nice side effect of that. But the motivation is like, I have a hard time believing it's anything but, hey, The Last of Us did really well 3 years or 4 years ago or whatever when it came.
Yeah, inexcusable.
Like, it's just like, do we really need this? Like, what am I going to get from the remake that I don't get from the base version? It just confuses me.
It's true. Yeah, it can often feel unnecessary.
Well, I'll say one more thing about remakes, and it's that the thing that excites me is when people do the thing they want to do. Like when people have a creative impulse and they act on it. There's some guy out there whose creative impulse is to remake Resident Evil 2, but I feel like that's almost never the case. Like I want to see what people want to tell me. I want to see the world they want to make for me or the game they want to make for me. Like that's what excites me, I think.
Yeah, not doing it out of obligation.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, yeah, so yeah, that was I can't remember what we were talking about before the whole thing.
Oh, I guess you asked me like what are my thoughts on like the future of the industry.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't have anything else to say on that, that's all good.
I squeeze in one more thought about the future.
Yeah, no, go
the
ahead.
industry.
Yeah, anything you got to say.
Genre classification must change. The genre classification for games is it tells you nothing. It's like if you went to a movie and the genre was what kind of camera they used to make the movie. First person shooter, action, adventure game. Like these tell you nothing about the emotional experience you're going to have. Drama, comedy, action, like they're still broad and reductive, but they tell you what the emotional experience is going to be like. In games, what is the emotion of an action adventure game? Like, what is that emotional experience? I have no idea. Like the bandwidth on what that could be is so big that it almost feels like a useless classifier to me. And I feel like that's something that that I feel like there is a chance that may actually change in the future, which would be nice to see.
Yeah, definitely. It's you can have that widely different games considered to be the same genre when they're not really.
And then you asked me, what am I playing these days? Neon White.
Oh yeah.
So it's actually funny. The guy who designed that also went to RPI, and I would say has a very similar creative desire to us. He and some friends from RPI made their own group called the Arcane Kids, who I think we try to aspire to be like in a lot of ways. And like Neon White is just it's a roller coaster. It's slick, it's slim, it's fun. I love it. And the cat game came out yesterday. Very excited to play the cat game.
Yes, me too.
Yeah. Elden Ring is definitely still on my mind.
Mm-hmm.
I beat it for the second time a couple of weeks ago.
Wow.
Gonna talk about that in design meetings for the rest of my life, no matter how much it annoys people.
Was the second time easier than the first?
Yeah, it is. I love those games. I go hard on those ones, very hard on the FromSoft.
I respect what they do. It's not always for me, but
no, that's extremely fair.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the ultimate level of opaqueness in terms of design.
Right.
I guess I just kind of eat that stuff up, though. It's kind of it does make it. I'll go on a little bit of a tangent.
Yeah,
I know
go
this
ahead.
is. I'm sorry.
I need to fill out the time for this episode.
Exactly. We need more anecdotes. So I think my feelings about FromSoft are kind of shared with every other developer, in that it's what we love about them is the fact that I don't know who to accredit to probably Hidetaka Miyazaki. The decision to not explain like 50% of what your game does, and to put the game out like that and just let people bumble around and look stupid and smash their heads and die 800 times before they figure it out, like that is a huge risk. You're risking losing most of your players. And like you said, I'm assuming that like I bounced off of it too the first time I tried it. It's not for everyone. They can make you so mad if you're not prepared for what they're going to do to you. But I don't know, it clicked with enough people that game designers were like, oh, you can do that and people will still like it. That's kind of exciting. And I don't know, it's dangerous because it feels like it's giving you permission to do things that maybe will alienate a lot of players, but there's something about that I think that just excites designers.
Yeah, for sure. Just being able to go hard on what you want to do.
And not even that, like it's really, really specifically the idea that you're going to let them figure it out. Mm-hmm. Like I'm going to go hard on something. Not only am I going to go hard on something, I'm going to go hard on something and not tell you how it works. I don't know if any game designer should go as hardcore as they do. Mm-hmm. Like they're obviously operating at the extreme end of what is okay.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. It's cool because I feel like they ignored design trends. They made their own design philosophy. And I think they put something new out there and it got a lot of people really excited.
Yeah, it's really admirable.
Yeah. That was my rant on the FromSoft design philosophy, I guess.
All good. Yeah, that was a good rant. So I do have one more question that I like to ask, and that is, where is your favorite pizza place?
Where's my favorite pizza place? This is so hard. I'm trying to think what is the best pizza in the entire world, not just regional?
That you have ever been to.
Oh my God, this is so hard. We could be here for hours.
Keep that runtime going.
I mean, the only thought I've ever put into it is like, what is the best pizza around here in this area? Because there's so much to choose from. The best pizza you can get in Troy, New York that I have been to, it's probably Donna's Pizza. I'll give you Donna's. I'm going to give you that one. Best pizza in Troy. All right.
Awesome. And yeah, that's all I've got for the show. Were there any questions you wish I had asked?
I mean, I have questions for you. Like, I'm just
Oh,
curious about where you're going. Like, you're at USC, right?
thank you. No, I
No.
graduated from Carnegie Mellon about 2 years ago. And so now I'm out here pursuing my own projects. When I was there, I was working on some VR games and animated films, and I discovered I really love voice acting. So
Oh.
I've been doing a bunch of voiceover and auditions and yeah, my own projects. I did my demo reels, so that's what I've been doing. And since I also have this studio, I'm doing the podcast.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, you've got a very professional setup. You've got the sound baffling, you've got it all. Oh, that's awesome that you're doing that. That's really cool. Are you doing like a focus on any kind of medium, like games or television or?
Yeah, definitely games and animation.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's awesome that you're doing that.
Thank you. Yeah, that's pretty much me. And I guess we can bring the episode to a close. And this has been Pixel Pizza. You've listened to another great episode. Thank you so much for joining me, Ben.
It's a pleasure to be here.
I'm glad. It was a pleasure for me too. So the final track we're going to hear from Lukhash is called The Other Side. So I'm playing that, and we'll see you next week.